Come in, Mr. Almandi.
Hello guys, how you guys doing today?
Great. How
Good.
are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. But before we start learning some math, I have a joke for you. Yes, I surely do. Okay. What did one math book tell the other?
I don't know. What? Who knows?
I have so many problems. I didn't even finish. I have so many problems. I don't want any of yours. So welcome back to Mr. Mondi Math 101. Okay. And today our focus is on multiplying fractions with whole numbers. And in the previous videos, we've done adding and subtracting fractions, but this is just a step forward. But I find this a bit easier. Okay, and some students also do too. So stay tuned. So when I have a number and a fraction that looks like this is 5/6. You can say it as 5/6 times 7. 7 is considered the whole number. Okay, if a number is just by itself, it's considered a whole number. But I can also make it a fraction if I really wanted to. Okay, so from here, can call this method 1 because there are two methods, maybe more, but I will only show you two that we can go about solving this problem. And whatever method you find interesting, you can use because both of them will work regardless. But one is easier than the other depending on how the problems look like. Okay, and I'll explain later. So now we have 5/6. What I can do with this is make this 7 a fraction. And the only way I can make this 7 a fraction is by keeping it at the top and then turning it into a fraction as 1. And the reason why I put 1 at the bottom is because if I put 1 at the bottom, 7 divided by 1, I still have 7. I didn't change the problem. But if I do it at the top, then I completely change the number. It will be 1/7. And we clearly know that 1/7 is nowhere close to it being 7. Okay? So that's why we just put it at the bottom. So always remember, when we have a whole number, we just put a 1 underneath to make it a fraction. From here, I can just multiply across. 5 times 7. Then I will do the same thing to the bottom. So we know 5 times 7 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So when I get to 7, I know that's 35. I write 35 at the top, and then I put my bar. Okay, once I put my bar, I go ahead and do the bottom part. And I know that 6 times 1 is 6. Okay. Now, for some teachers, this might be the answer, but I can also simplify this and make it even smaller. Okay, so I know, and the only way to do that is to divide and ask myself, how many times can 6 go into 35? And you can think about it this way: 6 times what gets me close to 35? Or maybe the number could give me 35, but here it will not be exact. Okay, so I know that 6 can go into 35 only 5 times because I know 6 times 5 gives me 30, and that 30 is only 5 is the only number that will give me close to 35. So I can write it as 5, and I will have a remainder because 6 times 5 gives me 30, and my remainder will be 5 because I'm still missing 5 of them, so it's going to be 5 over 6. Okay, my denominator will be the same as my denominator here. So that's my answer. That is method number 1. Okay, and like I was saying before, this method will only work. I mean, it will be great for when your numbers, especially when your whole number is small. Okay, when your whole number is small, this method works great, especially if your whole number is small, but then also your other number with your fraction is also smaller, then it's great. And I'm going to show you in the next problem why it would be a little bit more difficult for some people. Okay, so let's erase this. Take your time. You can pause the video at any time. So that's method number 1. Okay, next problem. I use method method 2 here. So the problem will look something like this: 2 over 3 times 18. Okay, and I forgot to mention that on some math problems, students will see it's saying 2/3 of 18. Okay, we know that of is the same thing as the operation of multiplication. So sometimes this will be replaced and used interchangeably. Okay, so just remember that of means multiplication. And so I can use the second method. And the second method, some students find easier, some students find harder. But this method works on these types of problem too. But the other method that I used can also work on this. It's just that you're gonna have bigger numbers, and I will demonstrate in a second here. So with this, my first step is going to get my whole number divided by my denominator. Okay, whole number divided by denom. Okay, and I'll just abbreviate. Okay, then my next step is to multiply, very bad at spelling, by numerator. So as long as we follow these two steps, we'll get our answer. By numerator. Not sure how to spell numerator. Okay, so let's start. Let's begin. So my first step is to get the whole number divided by the denominator. We know our whole number is 18, so 18, and then our denominator is 3. So 18 here divided by 3 equals to 18 divided by 3, or 6. I'm already giving you answers here. Or you think about it this way: 3 times what gives me 18? And I know that.
Hello.
Okay, give me a second. I'm doing video, okay? Okay, I know that 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. So my answer is 6 here. Okay, my last step is to multiply by the numerator. My numerator is always a top number on a fraction. So that's my last step. So then I do 6 times 2. And that will give me 12. Bingo. That's my answer. Take a look. Take it in. Okay. So that's my answer here. And this is method number 2. Whole number divided by numerator. Then once you get that number, which was 6, just multiply by 2, and you get my answer immediately. Okay. Now this is the reason why my other method is just a little bit tougher, but it still works. It still works. Okay. Take a look at that before I erase. Okay. So here, what I will do is the same. If I'm doing method number 1, all I have to do is multiply or turn this into a fraction, which is going to be over 1, and then just multiply 2 times 18. Okay, and if you have a hard time multiplying these big two numbers, this is where we end up. When we have to multiply the numbers when they're so big, we can still do it. Okay, so 18 twice gives me 6, 16. And then I have 1 over here, bring it up, and then I get 3. So it will give me 36 up top, and then I do the bottom, and I get 3. Then I ask myself, 36 divided by 3 is what? Or how many times can 3 go into 36? Or 3 times what gets me close or at 36? So that is my goal, but I should still get the same answer. And I know that 3 times 12, as we discovered earlier with the other problem, 3 times 12 will get me exactly 36. So my answer is 12. And you see that my answer is the same. Okay. This is method number 1 that I used previously, and I still get the exact same answer. So there's 2 methods that you can use on the homework. You can use wherever you are, okay, to solve these problems. Okay, and as you get older, we're gonna hear these types of problems. Oh, there's 18 students in a classroom, and only 2/3 of them brought their lunches. How many students brought their lunches that day? Okay, and there's so many other ways we can relate these problems to the real world. Okay, so you will see these types of problems in the real world. It's just that we don't really think about it. Okay, so thank you, and I hope you pause the video wherever you're watching it, and just to intake the information. I know it's a lot, but that's what math is. You just have to have fun with it. Okay, see you later.
Seeing monsters at your window. No, you can't.